Hey everybody, this is Chris with T3 Handicapping, and I'm here to handicap the card for Monday, October 4th, 2021. If you want to follow these picks live as we get scratches and changes, you can follow me on Twitter at handicappingT3. And if you're interested in purchasing the worksheets, the picks, if you want me to build you a custom report for a track of your choosing, you can do all of that by reaching out at T3Handicapping at gmail.com. So if you want to get a hold of any of those products, reach out to me. I'll give you my PayPal or Venmo information so we can get you hooked up with those things and hopefully lead to some success. I've started tweaking some stuff with the betting strategy that goes along with the handicapping system, and I found something that I'm liking, at least for the time being. So I'll kind of point that out to you a little bit today. Before we move in, I don't have any results from the last race day because it was last week. Overall, things went okay. I hit a fair number of things on Thursday at Indiana Grand, but overall, it wasn't a huge day. There were a lot of likely combinations coming in, a lot of likely winners, and so overall, a decent day, but nothing spectacular. That being said, I did have kind of a fun horse racing weekend. Over the weekend, race 10 Churchill Downs on Friday. I got my first winner circle picture taken. I was not there, unfortunately, but Rye Humor is a horse that I own through Little Bluebird Stables. They're a great organization. They do a great job with their partnerships, and I highly encourage, if you're interested in horse racing partnerships and getting to be a part owner in one, that you look at Little Bluebird Stables. I've been a part of a number of them. I joined these guys this summer and have had a blast, and finally got my horse's picture taken. So excited about that, and hoping that we can parlay some of that good luck into this week at Indiana Grand. So with that being said, let's go ahead and let's take a look at what we've got on tap. So a couple of quick reminders here about the markings that you're going to see up on the screen. In purple at the beginning of the race, you're going to see the class. The higher the number is, the worse the horses are, or the lower the class level. And then you're going to see the pace indicator. Red would indicate that it is slow. Yellow would indicate that it looks like it's going to be a moderate pace, and green would indicate that it's going to probably be a fast pace. As is always the case at Indiana Grand, early speed is going to tend to help and is going to produce more winners than some of the more off-pace types. So these slow paces can often lead to wire-to-wire winners, just something to be aware of. So let's jump right into our first one. It's a class level 20, so these are a little bit lower level horses. We're looking at maiden claimers 16, but with no restrictions. So not the worst claimers on the ground. We've got the number one horse at 100 A plus. Now this is that curved grade that I've been using. You can see it's a 91 overall. This one is a 77C. This is Emerald's Bolt, 11% second start. Definitely one I probably want to at least keep on. Once things drop below 10%, that's usually an automatic toss for me. Number 3, Dime Quando, 67, not going to use. Number 4, Eagle Cap at 5 to 2, 89 B plus, definitely one I want to use. Destined for Honor is an E2, 79 C plus. And then Future Vision is a 99A plus on the curve, so just behind the number 1 there. And then I have the 4 as a B, and the 5 and 2 as C's. That's kind of how I'll construct it. By the way, one thing that I'm thinking about doing here, as I have seen people continuing to view these videos, is I was thinking, if people are playing Indiana Grand, I usually am anyway. I was thinking about using the Twin Spires app to put together some group tickets and share those with viewers of these videos. So if that's something you're interested in, jumping on group tickets, including those within these videos, so that you can hop on a ticket without having to do any additional handicapping yourself, just kind of ride the coattails, but be involved in some bigger tickets, go ahead and just comment down below and let me know if that's something that you'd be interested in. So in this one, on the A line, I'm going to use 1 and 6. I'll use the 4 on the B line. I'll use the 2 and the 5 on the C line, but I probably won't use them very much at all in this case. Short field, want to get the most out of my money. Race number 2, 5.5 furlong, state bred claimers 19. So we're right around that same class, and again, we have a slow pace. Super Duty Justice is one of the top horses here. So 100 A plus is an 83 overall. So definitely going to obviously have to use. But one thing you're going to notice in this one is they're a little bit closer together than maybe even in the last one. 89 B plus on Can't Say Ellie Mae. Number three, he's a mischief, 67. Not going to use this one. You can see that Hickory High, though, at 3-1, is also gets a score of 100 on the curve scale. That's an 83 overall. So I've actually got two. I already had another A plus. Sent for his glory is a 99 A plus. And Red Liaison 82 B minus. So when you actually look at my A line's pretty crowded. I've got the 1, the 4, and the 5. I've got the 2 and the 6, both as B plus types. So this is one where I'm going to have to go deep in that second race. Coming in here, you can see we dropped down to a 7 in class with a moderate pace. So this looks like a race that should be slightly more formful. I've got Hot Pastrami at 51. That's a no use. Akamai, that's a 51, no use. Channel 1, 62, no use. Living Vicariously. Now, this one you'll see the little blue star there. And that's because this one actually falls into sort of that new wagering strategy that I've been utilizing. So, one of the things I've been tracking is when a horse scores 10 points or better than the next closest horse in the race, basically focusing those as being my major plays for the day. So rather than looking at what their overall power score is compared to the rest, I'm really looking for horses that stand out from the rest of the field. And so in this case, I've got Living Vicariously at 7-2 with Joe Rocco Jr. Standing out as 10 points or better than the second place horse in the field. And we'll see who that is. I don't remember off the top of my head, but we'll find that horse and figure out exactly where they are. But you'll notice that it's 10, or I think this one is either 10 or 11 points higher than the second best horse. This is the horse I'm really going to dig my teeth into. And so with that, I'm going to use a ladder bet system. So I'll use a small amount to win. I'll basically use a larger amount to place and then a much larger amount to show. That way, even if the horse doesn't run well, I should still be able to capitalize on the opinion. I've been finding that horses that rate out 10 points or better on the curve scale are winning at about 50%, and they're hitting in the money at about 75% over the weekend. So that was very successful for me, capitalizing on that in the money percentage, but then also hitting a fair number of winners that really allowed me to cash a lot of tickets. So I'll be using that one most heavily. Tohui 78C plus, Audacious Antoine 737X, League of Shadows 70C, Shipping Port 36 not using. Boa Nova, here's the other horse. You can see 89 B plus, so a difference of 11. And then Mr. Manning as well, 90 A minus, so a difference of 10, I guess, in total. And then you have this MTO in Sturgill, 69 right now. But if the race gets pulled off the turf, obviously that will change this horse's ratings. As of right now, the only thing this horse can really be rated on is this 5 furlong on turf effort. Once this comes off the turf, if it were to do so, then those ratings would get updated and this horse would probably rate much higher. There is a chance of thunderstorms in the area, which could jeopardize the turf. I'm not sure if it'll be enough to take the track into an off condition, but certainly could do enough to jeopardize any possibility of running on the turf. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see on that. Again, if you order the picks, I will actually make sure that I will send them to you when the updates have been made so that you're getting them handicapped for the right surface when you get the worksheet and things like that. If there are any major changes, I will also post my top selections to Twitter, so you can find them there at Handicapping T3. So this is what the board ultimately looks like: 410, 957. But again, I'm going to use that 4 really heavily. Moving on to race number 421. So, not great horses, but we're also looking at Philly State Bred maiden special weights, and it says a 13 pace, but you've also got a lot of lightly raced horses, so you kind of have to take that with a grain of salt because, again, a lot of them just haven't really developed the run styles. This horse is a top-notch horse, Cactus Flower, 100 A plus, 92 overall rating. Last Hurrah, 95A, another one that's definitely worth a use. A 96A for Image Run. The morning line odds maker seems to agree with that. Emerson's Dream is a 78 C plus. One of my daughters is named Emerson, so this one will probably have to find its way onto my ticket as well, just from the hunch perspective. Golden Heist, second career race, 0 for 3. I don't love that, but the horse is coming in based on the numbers that it does have as an 89 B plus. Pillow Drop, again, you've got 0 for 5, which I don't love, but you do have a 75C grade. And then Time to Confess, Marcelina Pedrosa, 71C plus on, or 71C minus on this one, and so your board looks like this. This is one where honestly I'm going to be spreading quite heavily to make sure that that I have a little bit of coverage in a lot of different places. Number 5, we're going a mile and a 16th on turf, and again you can see scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. So depending on where we're at, this may or may not go. 20. So it does look like a fairly honest pace. We should get plenty up top, and that may open it up for someone sitting just off the pace. Uh, Indiana Grand very rarely is good to those who love to come from way out of it. So, number 1, Rocky Rush, 81 B minus. Number 2, Tornado Boy, 57, not using. Number 3 is another one. Jimmy D comes out as an 86 raw, 100 A plus, and Jimmy D has a much higher score on the curve scale than any of his rivals. Number 4, Evil Eye, 85B. Number 5, Steward Rules, 24X. Ducosis, 90, is actually a B plus. So this is the next closest one. So again, we have that 10-point differential. Subdued, 63, not using. Clear for Action, 81 B minus. And then again, with the 9 and the 10 horse, neither one of them rated into the race, but that's both because they're MTOs. And again, if this race were to come off, that would change. That would change their scoring. So in the end, it looks like this. I've got the 3 as an A, and I'm going to be using my win play show ladder there. 6, 4, and 1, 8. They've got the little connector to show that they got the same exact score. Moving on to race number 6, Philly State Bred Main Special Weight. So it's a class level of 15. Not horrible. And then it does actually look like it's going to be a relatively quick pace, even despite the fact that these horses are lightly raced. I think they're going to be moving pretty quick. So, as we go through here, you can see this horse is actually 13%, or this trainer, I should say, is 13% coming off of the second start. So, that's something I like to be aware of. I've got a 64X on this one. I don't love that the horse has been off since June, and I don't really see any new speed into the horse, so I'm going to pass on that one. Perfect Smoky Eye, 73C. I'm not going to use Ready to Mamba at 60X. More Approval gets an 85B. Love Drunk, 79 C plus, but I'm noticing this trainer's 0 for 11. That's just not something I'm really interested in, so I'm going to move on from that horse, and I'll make a note of that down below. Sequeaker, 64X. Rose in Paradise, 50X. And then Z's Lucky Girl again. And you've already seen in going through these numbers, there's just not a lot here. So Z's Lucky's Girl with 100 scores well above. I believe this is one of the higher plays of the day. And 97 is the overall power rating. I did mention that I did not want to use the number 5. I just want to verify that it is in fact the number 5. Yeah, Love Drunk is the one I'm going to take off the board because I don't like the fact that the guy's 0 for 11. And it doesn't really matter anyway because I'm going to go heavily through the 8 in my win play show ladders. I'll probably use 8, 4, and 2 on other wagers. Moving on to race number 7 on this Monday card, we've got 1 mile on the turf. Again, we'll see if that happens. Really good horses, though. So I hope it stays on the turf because this is some of the best that Indiana Grand has to offer. Moderate pace. We've got Lady Mackenzie, 75C. Definitely one that I'll use somewhere. This is a horse I really like. Treaty of Paris, 87 raw, 100 A+. It's got the 10-point jump. But this is one where I'm getting a good price. I'm a little nervous that with Steve Asmussen and Marcelina Pedrosa, that's not going to hold. But this definitely seems like a horse where if I can get anywhere near that 5-1, I'm going to get some value on. Poca Mucha, 57, no use. Bernadette the Jet, 56 no use. Discreet Kitty, 62 no use. Native Lion, 80 B minus. Number 7, Canfu, 89 B plus. Number 8, Dance Recital, 80 B minus. Number 9, 45 and not using. And then rounding it out is number 10, Don't You Remember, 46 and a no use. So my board looks like this: A horse 2, and then I've got 7, 6, 8, and 1. Of course, the 2 horse being um, Treaty of Paris. That's that 5-1 shot. I'm going to use that one very heavily. Then I'll use some of these underneath. Or I might do some reverse keys, but I'll definitely be using this one as sort of my main cog in the wager, and make sure that I have that covered so that if this horse comes in for second or third, I'm adequately compensated. The next race is number 8, and I believe this is our final thoroughbred race of the day. After this, they will switch over to quarters. This is a 21, so again, we're looking at some of those lower level horses, and the pace is set to be a 13. The number 1 horse, 82 B minus, definitely want to use there. The 2 is one I want to think about at least. Second career race, 17% over 24 starts. That's not one that I necessarily want to leave off, particularly with these connections, Hammond and Pompel. So I'm going to add the 2 in when I come back. This one had the chance to make a second start and took a step back. I don't really like that. She's a Clever Justice, 46 not using. Again, though, I do have this horse here. You can't see it, but it's a 29% second time starter for Anthony Granitz. Now, I'm a little concerned that he doesn't get one of his top jocks. He ends up with Albert Lopez. But I think the 4 is one that I would probably use on a very far backup. Little Evie, 96A. Uh, Latana Justice, 70 C minus. That one's fine. Number 7, Valentine Daisy, and number 8, Red Rosebush, I'm not using. I'm definitely not using Skipping Justice, going 0 for 19 on the second start. Sister Justice, 61, not using. Unbridled Victory is my best one. My best horse here, obviously 16% in the second career race. Gets the A+, 100% on the curve, 92% overall power. Her Kind of Justice, 83B minus. I have no problems there. And then tap into the beat, 56X. May not even get into the race anyway. So you can see I'm actually quite spread here. I did say that I wanted to include the 2 and the 4 as well, just to make sure that I had some coverage there. I think the 4 is the one that I would like most consider tossing from this equation, but definitely one that I at least noted a key stat on, and in a race like this, that could be dangerous. So this is kind of where I end up here with my final tally. And then the 9th race, we move into the quarter races. So that kind of takes us through the card on today's, or I should say Monday's Indiana Grand race card. Again, um, there is some looming precipitation in the area. So if you're looking to play those turf races in particular, make sure you pay attention to that. If you want the updated picks after scratches and changes come out, you can follow me on Twitter at Handicapping T3. And if you would like to purchase any of the handicapping products that I use to get here, the worksheets, the T3 grids, any of that stuff, you can reach out for Indiana Grand. It's $2. If you want me to make a custom report for you for any track around the country, I can do that as well. That one's just a little more expensive, but you can email me for details. That's t3handicapping@gmail.com. When you reach out there, I'll give you my Venmo and PayPal information, and we will go ahead and make sure that you get all of the stuff you need to make plenty of money at Indiana Grand on Monday, October 4th. Good luck.